It's game time. Yes, it is game time. It's Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen. Paul will be joining us a little bit later on, but it's brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News and, of course, Sports Illustrated and our good friends at Paramount Sports. Listen, I'm in Toronto. I've got the Toronto Maple Leaf backdrop. Everybody that's a Winnipeg Jets fan, no, I'm a big Jets fan. They play tomorrow. I'll have that up. And tonight, all my Habs fans, I'm also a Habs fan. I'm confused. I'll have a Montreal Canadiens set up in a few minutes. So please don't beat me up too badly because I've got a guest, Francois, the Flying Frenchman. He's all about the Habs. And then I got my other buddy, Pete Bombaci from the General Project. We're talking Wellness Wednesday. And what better a way to get well than watching hockey tonight? Hey, listen, tomorrow, do not miss the show. 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the captain of your beloved Toronto Maple Leafs, Daryl Sittler, will be joining us. But prior to that, JP and Francois will talk to me of how the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs make out tonight. You've been waiting for this for a long time. It's finally here. The Canadiens begin a brand new season tonight here in Toronto. Of course, there are no fans. There'll be hundreds of thousands of people watching it. Obviously, this has been forced because of COVID, and that's what we want to talk about right now. I want to talk to both Francois and Peter. Pete is also a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. I know that for a fact, but he's torn between two lovers because I know you don't like the Montreal Canadiens. Hey, listen, no further wasting any time. Let's get right into it. The Flying Frenchman V8. Comment ça va?
Oh, it's going very well, Gooch. How's everything there? You're ready for the Toronto Leafs to lose their first game?
C'est bon. C'est bon. Hey, listen, thanks for yesterday, JP. You were fantastic. Look forward to getting you on tomorrow to discuss the result of tonight's game. Very big anticipation. Many believe that the Montreal Canadiens have grown in depth. We talked about that yesterday. The Montreal Canadiens have always had kind of a grittier team than the Toronto Maple Leafs. But let's not forget, they've gone out and hired a couple of good players, one with experience, Mr. Thornton, and of course we call him Mr. because he's almost our age, and of course Wayne Simmons, a little bit of grit, a little bit of goal scoring. So I look forward to getting into that with you. But you know what? To combat the pure Canadian contribution you'll give us, it's Pete Bombaci. Pete, what's going on?
I had to put on the Leaf hat just because there was too much Montreal Canadian love there. Not that there's ever too much love for hockey, so I had to throw on a little Leaf love there for you.
I'm giving you a chance, Pete, because I'm not wearing my Montreal Canadiens jersey.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
But that can change at any minute, right? Like a guy like me could say, you know what? I'm tired of all this. Let's go.
You mean like change like this?
Yes.
I really am torn. It really is. Like, I love both teams. They're amazing.
Look at that. I'm actually in the dressing room of the Montreal Canadiens getting ready to play tonight. So get ready. This is actually the Hockey Hall of Fame where they bought the they actually installed it. I don't know if you guys have been there at the Hockey Hall of Fame in this particular area. This is actually the one that came out of the Forum, which is just absolutely amazing.
I was there with you, Gooch.
Yes, you were. Hey, many believe that these two teams will battle for number one spot. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Montreal has added depth and definitely a bona fide number two goalie in Jake Allen. And the Leafs have added some grit and some maturity, of course, adding Joe Thornton and Wayne Simmons. I think not having the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay in the same division, it may be beneficial to these two teams because they will be able to lead in the division. We'll talk about that also as we get along. First, what I want to get on is to hear from both of you commenting. Hockey's back. We're excited about it. We're really blessed to have the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated helping us put on this show, Gouche Live, featuring Paul Rosen. So the first question will go to you, Francois. Your thoughts on hockey being back? Very positive, somewhat positive, or it shouldn't be happening?
I think it's positive. It's entertainment. So and people are just waiting for it. I've seen today I've read a lot of people just waiting for that game. A lot of people are going to be in front of their TV sets tonight, and to cheer on either Toronto or Montreal. But I think it's been a long time coming. Everyone is waiting for it. Unfortunately, with the COVID and a lot of people testing positive and all that, and even in the NHL, I mean, there's 20 something or they're close to about 30 cases of positive COVID players, and I think there's 17 or 18, if I'm not mistaken, only with Dallas. So I think also the teams will have to be extremely careful that they're traveling inside their own divisions, but still they're going to have to respect all the strict rules that the NHL has established.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Francois. We need these professional leagues and these franchises and all the executives from coast to coast and throughout the league to be very serious about how they manage this process. Sport is a great way to bring people together, and human connection is something that we all are missing and lacking right now. And we can all connect through our teams, through the captains, through the players that have their stories, who can, we can cheer them on when they're winning, and we can console ourselves with them when they're losing. And I think although there are some challenges that they will face, I think right now, I think we need, certainly I love the Canadian division. I love the fact that it'll create some camaraderie and also some rivalries again, like we haven't had in some time north of the border. And I think that's all good to give some people opportunity to talk about their team, their player, their sport, and get us all a little more connected. Even though we can't do it face to face, get on a Zoom tonight with a buddy and watch the game together and banter back and forward. Have that same chatter that you'd have if you were having a beer in a bar, but just do it on Zoom or some other way.
Well, listen, I know that we're all excited about the sports being back. Not everybody is. There is some controversy on the internet right now. People saying, listen, obviously with, you had mentioned it earlier, cases are going up all over the place. We have 27 official NHL players. And one really kind of questionable thing that happened today, it was brought to my attention through Val Silva, our producer. Bill Daly tested positive for COVID a month ago and has come through it. Why didn't we hear about that? We're only finding out about that today. Kind of confusing because, are we keeping secrets? And I have at no time questioning his integrity or the NHL's reasonings, but it is a question that has been asked on one of these social sites saying one of the heads of the NHL suffered from COVID and we knew nothing about it. Love to hear your thoughts on that, guys.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that we. I'm just learning about it now, and I think if I'm looking back at this situation a month ago, they were still debating whether or not they would have a season. So they probably hit a little bit of that, So, but I'm extremely surprised at the same time, and honestly, I'm disappointed. I would have rather known that he's had it and continuing, trying to make that NHL season happen anyways, regardless. But I'm kind of disappointed about that.
I kind of have a little bit of a different take on that because, like Francois, I've just heard about it now as well. But Bill Daly isn't in the day-to-day grind of the teams. He's not out there, in the arenas in different places. So, should everybody be going to the media that they've got COVID? I think there's an opportunity for Bill Daly. The only thing I really care about is, did Bill Daly, whenever he figured out how he got it, hopefully it wasn't from hockey. It was from hockey, I'd like to know more. Yeah. But if it was from him just living his life and being, in New York, and because that's where I think he's out of, at the end of the day, if he got it by living life and doing what he does, obviously he wasn't taking all the right precautions. But what I'm more interested in is that he took the steps to actually ensure that he was safe, that he isolated, and that he didn't spread it. Because I don't think it's really a hockey issue when it's a head office thing with a senior executive.
I know that you are the co-founder or the founder of the General Project, and you want us to connect. One of the most important things is honesty. And I think one of the things that we have to realize is in this day and age, all the issues that we have, he's a pretty important guy in the National Hockey League. I think that they should have came forthright, said, listen, I've got it. We know every politician that gets it. We know everybody in our circles of friends that get it. So I really believe that it just puts a little bit of a question mark on why wasn't it and why are we finding it out on the day it starts.
Mm-hmm. Would it be if he came out with it now, Gouche, and he actually said, hey, it happened because I had to go to the hospital or I was in a senior's home and it had nothing to do with hockey and I isolated for 2 weeks. Would that put it to rest for you?
No.
It wouldn't.
There's a thing, transparency. Listen, we're being asked, and again, it's not just, I know that both of you are excited about the season starting. Nobody else more than I. I heard words like, it's a distraction. Is it a distraction? A distraction is, I have no money in my bank account. I don't have enough money to buy food. My mother's in an old folks home dying of COVID. I can't go out and see her. I can't even now go out of my house and go to the rink and perform because my studio's there, because I've been asked not to. I'm saying as in the general public. So please don't take it wrong. I think everybody has to live. Everybody has to get through this. But on one breath, you can't say we're in a state of emergency, yet millionaire athletes, and not just the NHL, are flying around our countries open to do what they want to do, and yet we aren't. That's my question on the transparency.
I agree, but Gouche, we're talking about two different things here. Like I understand, and we're not. I mean, there's no debate on the COVID being there and being everywhere, and some people are losing their jobs. People are they can't work, and they have to stay home. They have curfew, like here in Quebec. We have a curfew from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. But that's part of life also. And we have to live with it. But the NHL, it's entertainment. People need entertainment. I think it's going to be good for a lot of people just to watch a hockey game. It's going to bring the families together, although they're in a small bubbles. But unfortunately, and I'm saying unfortunately, they have the money to take all the precautions. And I'm not saying that we're not taking precautions. It's just easier for them to be in a bubble, and the players are tested every day, every single day. Everyone is tested.
Right. I'm not debating, again, please understand in my position, I have to present both sides.
Yes.
And whether I believe, I'm not going to tell you what I believe in right at this moment, because I know that I've already got this comment from Derek Luck, and I love this guy. I don't think it's anyone's business. It's a personal thing to do with on ice. So, Derek, I need to present it though, because it has been brought up and there are people questioning it. So if there's a legitimate answer, like you just said, or if Derek's saying it is a personal thing, great, I'll accept that. But he isn't just a personal, he's the head of the National Hockey League. We have a COVID crisis. We have people dying all over the place. And then Derek does make a very valid point. Hey, Gouche, more important, how does Kane going out and losing $30 million? That's a real story. Thank you, Derek. We are going to have a show just on that. So thank you for pointing that out. But I think we just need to I think it's called transparency. So I'll give it to the fact that because it's a personal matter, maybe it should stay personal. Let's talk about the positivity of the season starting. I'd like to hear it from you, Pete, because you're so into making sure people connect. And we are connecting. Somebody's going to say, wow, I'm just sitting at home. But no, I'm texting my buddies nonstop. Hey, did you see that hit? Hey, did you what? Look at that giveaway. Hey, Thornton looks great. Hey, Gouche, absolutely nothing you're talking about. Get off your show. Right? That's connecting.
Yeah, no question. And the Twitter feeds will be on fire tonight as people are watching the game and wanting to share their opinion. And I think we need to share, if you're passionate about the game, get on a social media site and share it and engage with other people. Again, let's do it respectfully, because I think that's the important message through the last 4 years and and also through COVID, is making sure that we're all respecting each other for our opinions. Habs fans and Leafs fans are first and foremost all great human beings, and that we can all come together and celebrate sport for what it is, which is a great connector of cities, of people, of passionate fans. As we know, the abbreviation of fanatic for fans. You know, at the end of the day, I really think this is important. I did a little research before I came on. 77% of Canadians watch sports, professional sports, and a third of us watch it during normal times on a daily basis. So to think that there aren't people that are passionately looking forward to this game and who won't be somewhat, I'll use the word comforted, but, you know, certainly find some solace and an ability to feel connected to their team and their sport once again, I think we're not taking, you know, the real value of what's going to happen tonight.
I agree with you, Pete. And you know, I've been reading also, if you look at all this sports writers today and the people, the amount of people actually responding to it in a positive way, it's unbelievable. So I agree. And if you recall, during the World Juniors, I mean, the TV quotes were pretty high. So, and I think it's going to be even higher with the NHL coming back, especially tonight with Toronto and Montreal. So I think there's going to be a lot more people than we think that are going to watch that game tonight.
So listen, tonight's the start of the regular season. Obviously, Philadelphia is up against Pittsburgh before anything starts. But I just want to let you know, Montreal Canadiens tonight play 6 games on the road.
Yep.
So they start off, obviously, here tonight, then into Edmonton for the 16th and the 18th, and then they're into Vancouver. They have a back-to-back on the 20th, 21st, then play in the 23rd, and they're on the way back. The Leafs are home tonight. Then on Friday, they're in Ottawa, at home against Ottawa, back-to-back. Fantastic. I think that rivalry, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. In Winnipeg, in Edmonton, and then back home for a home stand against the Calgary Flames. So distraction or not a distraction, I basically said that we are talking specifically about COVID. I don't want this to become the main topic, but COVID is there. It's lingering over the NBA right at this moment. Another game has been canceled tonight. When I read to you that the Toronto Maple Leafs are playing tonight, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, within a week, they've got 6 to 8 games, or a little bit longer than 8 games, or a week. We get a COVID positive test. What are we dealing with it then? Now we have that team, maybe the whole team sitting out. We have taxi squads. We don't know how that's all going to intermix. And with the rise, I don't know if you guys heard, you know, we're in a state of emergency here in Toronto as of tonight. Mm-hmm. Numbers could go up, they say, anywhere from 5 to 10,000 a day, mid-February. It's going to be difficult to control that. So does that distraction become deliberating?
Go ahead, Francois.
Well, you know, they're going to play a lot of games. Every team, they have to play 56 games in 100 and I don't know, in close to 300. So it's one game every second day, basically, that they're going to have to play. And Bettman said clearly that the teams have to be able to adjust very quickly. Meaning that if there's a case, let's say Montreal is playing Edmonton in a couple days, and there's cases in Edmonton, that will not mean that Montreal will play Edmonton. They might play Calgary. So that's what he meant by, you know, being able to be flexible and being able to adjust quickly. What's important for the NHL is that every team plays 56 games. That's what they want.
Wow, that is, I hadn't heard that from Gary Bettman, but I think that's a powerful message to say, look, guys, we're going to get 56 games in here, and we have a schedule. It's tentative, and we have all heard, for those that are living in Toronto, you know, we've heard John Tory, we've heard Eileen Davila, we've heard Teresa Tam at the national level. These people are not just idly watching and just kind of saying, hey, good luck, guys. They are going to be paying very close attention to what's going on with every team across this country and making sure that everything is going hunky-dory, because the minute something doesn't look right or we start getting a lot of tests, I can guarantee you, I'm sure the Ontario government was very cautious in giving approval to Ottawa and Toronto to actually play games, because it was very last minute.
Pete, Francois, I've got a special guest coming on that you didn't know was coming. One of my favorites, probably one of your favorites too. Before he comes up, I want to say this. I applaud the National Hockey League. I applaud Gary Bettman, Bill Daly, and all the management team that's in there. However, there is a negative connotation when I'm told, and when I say I'm talking for general public. I'm talking about this, what I'm getting from people on my little handy dandy here.
Yep.
And they're saying, I am being told just now as I'm watching TV, stay at home.
Yep, I agree.
If it's not essential. Playing ice hockey is not essential. It's not essential. So please explain to me why you feel it's a great debate. Why is ice hockey, sorry, I'm talking in the German term. Why is hockey right at this moment essential?
I'm just going to throw something at you, and
throw it at me, not too hard though.
This is early on in the pandemic, and I still remember Eileen Davila saying in Toronto that they were going to leave LCBO stores open, through the pandemic, or at least in the early stages of it. And I think I even was like, wow, is alcohol an essential service? Do we need it? And the response that she had in that interview was, yeah, actually it is, because as we go through these times, we are going to need things to quell our fears. We are going to need things to cope. And unfortunately, alcohol may be a thing that, some of us use to get through challenging times. And I think in this situation, and I'm sure all the health experts have weighed this, and I'm sure that there's people in the public who won't want to hear both sides of this, which I think is a mistake, because I think we need to be open to understanding that there are people who are struggling right now, and that a hockey game on TV may actually help somebody cope through these challenging times. And I am confident that this is the reason why the health experts are even considering letting any sport league play right now, is because they know it is part of the coping mechanism for many people, not only in this country, but in countries around the world, whether it's hockey or soccer or basketball. And so I just think putting a different lens on, it's not just hockey, it's not just a sport, it's not just wealthy players and teams, it's actually about people, it's about society, it's about actually helping people get through a pandemic which none of us could have ever imagined before. Completely agree. And just to add on that, depending on the province where the teams are at, there's different rules. There's rules in Ontario. We have a curfew. In Ontario, they don't have a curfew, and that's why it also took a while for the Montreal Canadiens to be able to practice at their own training facility. So they had to get approval from the Prime Minister, and it's the same thing in Ontario. They had to approve it, and I think they approved it for a reason, and it's exactly what Pete just explained. Here also, we can buy alcohol anytime we want, and I think it's gonna be good for people just to see something and to look forward to watching something on TV like sports. And we all know, the Bell Center, when there's a game, it's full, it's jam packed. It's the same thing in Toronto, and we're in two markets that are extremely watched, and it's like a religion, because it could be Montreal or Toronto. If they play in Calgary or Edmonton or Winnipeg, half of the ring there in out west are rooting for either Toronto or Montreal. So we're in two very funny markets, but it's that's reality. And I remember when I was working in Florida, when Montreal or Toronto or Boston, most of the ring there, they were cheering for the opponents.
So, so I think it's going to do well for people just to be able to watch a game, and like you said, Gooch, just texting each other. I mean, I've got one of my friends from Switzerland. I mean, he started a pool that I'm in. I know I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose the pool because I don't have time to take care of it. But it's just part of fun, So, and that's what people want.
You know what's funny about that? Sam Trapolino, all the way from Adelaide, was in a pool last night, and I was up until probably about 5 this morning with him. We were going back and forth because he has that amount of knowledge on the NHL. So it was a blast, like unbelievable. But my next guest that's coming up, he's not just a guest, he's one of our co-hosts, of course. He and I went to a hockey game. I think it cost us $20. We got hot dogs and a beer when we went down to Florida. Guys, Paul Rosen.
All right, Rosie.
Hello, Rosie.
How are you guys? How are you? Yeah, I remember that night in Tampa.
Yeah.
We had two incredible tickets. They were playing the Leafs, tons of Leaf fans. And we got 2 tickets, I think a beer, 2 hot dogs, parking for $20 US.
Each.
I don't think you get it. Yeah. I don't think you get it now that Tampa's won the Stanley Cup, but
and you sat 10 rows from the ice too.
We had great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that big screen, it didn't matter where you sat. The thing was a monster. Just before you chime in here, Derek Luck, I love your comments. The players have a choice to play. I think they control some of the aspects of the game. I agree with that. And then Derek also agreed with you. Touché, Pete. I guess we're speaking a little bit of French now. And if they can open a Costco, they can play a game. Now, Derek, I love you, kid, but I don't think those are the similar. If I need a pair of shorts, I can't buy them at a hockey game. I can go to a Costco. But I guess I can't go to a hockey game now and get a hot dog. So I think we have to keep this all in perspective. Yeah. The reason why I'm bringing on the part that maybe we're all excited, all 4 of us, rah, rah, rah. I'm going to be glued from then to then. We're doing a 4-hour show, for God's sakes, on hockey today. We must be crazy. We've never done this before.
Well, we know we're crazy, and we definitely know you're crazy, Gooch. We just follow your lead.
I know, but to Derek's point, I get there's going to be left and right. God, don't talk about the States right now. And there's going to be middle ground. I want to be in the middle ground right now because I want to understand when somebody says no, I want to understand why you say no, and then what does yes mean, and how does yes convince me that yes is yes and no is no, or how do we find a middle ground? That's what I'm trying to do.
I want to speak on a different part. Everybody knows the last 2 days, 3 days I haven't been on because of my dad. My dad took sick again, and physically he's a monster again, but unfortunately mentally things are not going that well. He's hallucinating, seeing things. He's back in the hospital and hopefully going to get better. But so my sister and I were looking at it, and she's not really a hockey person, but so he's in the hospital. It's craziness there. It's COVID. It's nonsense. Nobody can go see him. We're just trying like mad to get one of my sister or my brother or myself to be able to go see him for 5 minutes. For the last 2.5 days he's been in there, doesn't know what's going on. And I'm looking at it now as an opportunity to take that part of my life, which is it's in God's hands, and have an opportunity now to have some entertainment and watch a game that I love and forget about the world for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And as long as, and I love what Gouche is saying, but to me, as long as the NHL is taking the precautions for these players and their families, and they're tested every single day, and if somebody gets sick, they will not be in the lineup. I think sometimes we have to bend the rules a little. And Gouche, believe me, I'm on your side when it comes to, flying all over and people can't do this and people are going out of business. And I 100% get it. And we're in tomorrow night. Like, one of the things I do is every night I take a chance, 2-3 hours, and go over to Newmarket to my girlfriend's house. As of tomorrow night, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that because we're not in a curfew, but we're in a stay at home from 8 at night till 5 in the morning starting tomorrow. So
that's exactly my point. Thank you, Paul.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys can answer this, but tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, I'm going to drive to Newmarket just to see if I can see her. And am I going to get pulled over by the police and say, "Where are you going?"
You will get fined if you get caught at her house. Plain and simple. well, we're not going to go to, listen, I've been cheating too. I'm first to put my hand up. I only cheat because my wife needs to see her father and her sister who's on her deathbed. Like, her sister is not going to be around. So I'm cheating. I'm driving her there, and I'm part of, I'm almost a hypocrisy right now because I'm doing something we shouldn't. So the point today is really just to understand, and Paul, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, we are all thinking about your father. We love your dad.
Yeah.
He's as strong as a hammer, and we just hope to see him back on his feet. I know what you're going through, and I know people say, I hate hearing that, but Paul, I know what you're going through, and we love you, and we think nothing but the world about you, your father, and of course, your sister Gail is an angel.
Sure.
But when we get back to the hockey component, what I really want to try and get up from today, this is a warm-up for today. We're going to have Ron Ellis on, Dave McElwain's on, Rick Natras is on. Some of these guys have played for both Montreal and the Toronto Maple Leafs. When we have Gary Lehman on. What I'm trying to set up is just to get away from the fact that we can't just be all hockey crazed. There is another side of society. And I think Derek is putting it in perspective, what has meant that we can open up a Costco and we can have staff at a game and put it on TV. I don't disagree with that. The thing that I do struggle with is the fact tonight in a hospital, people are dying.
Yes.
There are people dying at old folks' homes that aren't getting tested. They don't have the proper PPE. They don't have all the assets that the NHL has, because I just heard from Francois, they have the money to buy it. Yeah. We are a democratic society. We are not the United States of America. We are Canada. We take care of our weak. We take care of our poor. I'm just trying to get it. And Pete, this is coming at you, bud. Explain to me, can we not see the other side where people are questioning how sane we are by allowing these games to go on? Well, we should be spending our time and going, and if we can't go out, because we've been told not to, if we could go out, why aren't we going and helping people that can't help themselves?
And so first off, I fully understand what the concern of those who suggest we shouldn't be playing is. I understand the perspective. In your example of not having enough PPE, not having enough opportunity to service and provide support for those that might be in hospital and stuff, that can't see their loved ones, I don't think we can put that on the NHL to say that they should be buying PPE, even though I'm all forgiving.
No. Oh, sorry. I hope you didn't misunderstand. I'm not suggesting at any moment that they should be buying anything.
But you think they should be locked down? Is your point?
I not personally. It's a general statement that's out there, because there are people that 32, that you said 73, carry the one, that 24% that aren't hockey people.
Right.
Why don't they have a voice in this?
But can I say one word real quick? What the NHL is doing by playing, and it's not in my opinion, I don't think it's affecting anything other than them. They're not asking for government money. They're doing everything on their own. They're doing their testing. It's an added bonus to entertainment in society. It's not dragging anybody down in any way. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong.
I build on that. I build on that and just say, Kerry, that those people that are sitting in a hospital or who are sitting in a senior's home, I'll bet you of the 77% of Canadians who enjoy watching professional sport, that a good percentage of those are probably the people who came from old school hockey. How many old school people might be sitting in a senior's home or at home alone, whatever the case may be, who'll be turning on that Montreal-Toronto game tonight because it's going to bring back memories of the 70s, the 60s, because those were the heyday of the sport and of the legacy that this hockey, that hockey brings with it.
No question. And I think if we all just go down this rosy path, the yellow brick road, it's all fun and games. What I want to say, and I'll leave it at this, and I want to get, Francois, you'll get your chance. I take a different approach to it. And there may be some people that are watching, especially now that we're down in the States, they may think I'm absolutely crazy. They'll never watch the show again. I get that. But I do believe it's really important. Well, maybe it's because they don't like me. I don't know. But the fact is that we do have to look at the other side. And the other side is we've heard a distraction. A distraction is I'm going to sit on the couch with my wife, who doesn't want to watch the game anyways, and we'll be watching and clicking and watching some of those game shows. Distraction is the fact that we have children. Why don't we take that time instead of watching a game for 3 hours and spend time with our children? But the final part is we state that it's entertainment. Nobody wants to entertain more than a parent who has a child playing hockey and allow them to allow their kids to go to the rink, just like the NHL guys are, videotape it and send it back for their parents to be sitting at home. But they're not allowed to do that. Kids are not allowed to go to the rink because it's not safe. Why is it any different for the National Hockey League?
Well, I'll add to what Rosie and Pete were saying, and it doesn't have to do anything with sport, but I recall during the holidays, there's a group of popular and celebrity singers that put a show together, and they put it on TV. For me, it's the same thing, and there's people watching it, and probably people that has nothing to do with sports, and they were enjoying it because it's entertainment. So for me, that kind of show, or what the NHL is doing, is extremely similar. So now, yes, we're talking about sports, and probably some of the people that are, telling, but they have a lot of money, and I think the money issue has a big thing to do with it. Sometimes we have problems with money, or people making a lot of money, and having businesses that has a lot of money and are, but for me, the hockey game that I'm going to watch tonight is very similar to the show that a bunch of singers put together, and they were in the same room. It was just filmed and it was live, so it's entertainment, and I think people are in need of entertainment right now today, especially with what we're living in the COVID and being we have to stay home because of a curfew and all that. I think it's good entertainment, and people need that.
Okay, so thank you for clarifying that for me. And I think this has been entertaining because we've seen a couple of sides of what people are thinking, and thank you for clarifying that for me. Now we're going to go to hockey. So we got three experts, Rosie, Pete, and Francois. And I know that you're an expert, Pete, because I saw you with two very famous Montreal Canadiens. Talk to us about that. When was that?
Yeah, that was back in probably around 2000, and I was working at Molson at the time, so there's where my love of the Canadiens comes from. As a Molson employee, we had the opportunity, as part of a sales incentive, to go up to Montreal and play at the Forum, actually at the Bell Center. It wasn't the Forum. And on the ice that day was supposed to be Jean Beliveau, Yvon Corway, Henri Richard, and it was also supposed to be the Big M. He got snowed in a snowstorm, so instead they brought out Brian Savage, who was a great guy as well. Yeah. But what an amazing experience. And I do have to tell you, I love playing hockey, and I was playing 3 times a week. Yvon Corway raced me end to end. I was going forward, he was going backwards, and of course, he beat me. So, and he would have been, I don't know, how old is he now? He would have been probably 60, 50 something, and I was 30 something, and he could still fly. So it was pretty impressive to watch.
Well, that's why they call him the Roadrunner.
Apparently.
Peter, one thing really, really, really quick. My shoulder can vouch for your shot from about 2 months ago. It still hurts a little, my shoulder.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I got the shot, but not the wheels.
From that bump.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, Pete. You still got the shot. Hey, listen, Rosie, I want to ask you this question. Obviously, the Montreal Canadiens are a legendary team, as are the Toronto Maple Leafs. There are other games going on tonight. As we know, Edmonton is up against Vancouver at home. Just your general thoughts on the fact that hockey's back. It's exciting. I know the Canadian division is something that we're all so excited about. I read an article, and it was actually Bill Daly that said, don't get used to this. It's not going to be a typical thing. So embrace it and celebrate it. And I know we're going to do that because there's going to be 7 Canadian teams vying for 4 spots. Tell us your thoughts on the Canadian division.
I love the Canadian division. I'm happy it's going to be a one-time shot, but I think it's going to give people a chance to really that maybe wouldn't have an opportunity to watch some of the Western teams, get a chance to watch them now, to see a Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Winnipeg, a lot more than they would being in Toronto or Montreal 4 or 5 times. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great for the game. I think it's going to be great for Canada and great for the average fan that maybe would only watch. I have a couple of really good buddies that only watch the Leafs. They love the Leafs. So whoever the Leafs are playing, that's all they see. So this year, they're going to get a chance to see the Leafs play a Vancouver. So when I'm talking to my buddy Jimmy about Vancouver last year, and he just doesn't get it because he only saw them once, well, he's going to get it by the time of this, 56-game schedule. He's going to know a little bit about some of the Canucks and some about the Winnipeg Jets. And, I put together in the last day, I had a little bit of time while my dad was in the hospital to really look at the Canadian 7. And I'm going to give you guys my outlook right now. I could be totally wrong. So anybody watching, don't yell at me or send me notes, okay? This is just my opinion. I got Toronto ending up winning the division. I got Calgary in second. I got Edmonton in third. I got Montreal in fourth. I think Montreal's going to have a great year. Vancouver's going to be in fifth. I know, Gouche, you're going to hate this, but I think Winnipeg's going to be in sixth. Ottawa in seventh, but I think Ottawa's really going to it's going to be close. Like, nobody's blowing anybody out. And then I got Toronto beating Edmonton in the play down. Toronto beating Montreal, and then Calgary losing to Edmonton, and Toronto beating Edmonton and going on to the Final Four. I could be totally wrong. I kind of hope I am, because I really don't like the Leafs, never have. But I think there's going to be a lot of great hockey. I think people are going to really respect and learn a lot more about the Canadian Western teams that they never knew anything about.
Now that Rosie's finished that, let's go to a true professional who I know likes the Leafs and likes the Winnipeg Jets, Pete Bombaci.
I love the Jets, Gouche.
I know you do.
I just don't think this is going to be their year.
All right, we're going to Pete. Pete, you just heard Rosie. Are you on the same page, or do you have? We got 7 teams. Where do you see these teams ending up? I'll give you if you.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't really, to be honest with you, I haven't spent enough time really analyzing each of the teams. I am a homer who's going to love the Leafs from the minute the puck is dropped, and really more than anything. And I hope I love the game. I'm just so excited to sit down and watch the game. I couldn't care who's playing, and I do like Francois said, as Rosie said, and you've touched on it, Gouche, and other shows as well. It's just going to be great to see the Canadian teams go at each other. I can't wait to see the rivalry with, when I think of Cujo running into the corner and knocking over the ref when Ottawa-Toronto was hot. I think of, the 90s, 80s, 90s when the Habs and the Leafs, and then obviously the Gretzky incident that didn't allow us the opportunity to play against each other. I can think of, obviously seeing Gretzky so many times when he was in Edmonton, Vancouver when we lost in the playoffs with those ugly Canuck jerseys from I think that was the late 80s when we lost in the semifinals or quarterfinals. Like, every one of those scenarios is deep in my head to say, wow, wouldn't it be great to, and I'm going to use the word hate. Wouldn't it be great to hate all the other Canadian teams again? And really what it is, it's about passion. It's about energy. It's about motivation, inspiration. That's what I want to have love for the game again, because it's been out for so long. That's what I'm excited about.
You know what I want to ask both you really quick. I want to ask Pete what you think about this, and Francois what you think. I think the two biggest to me potential things for the Leafs to really be successful and for the Canadiens to be successful is, I think, Jack Campbell in Toronto and Joe Thornton. I think they're going to be critical to the Leafs' success this year. And on the other end, I think Jake Allen and Corey Perry are going to be very vital to the Canadian success. What do you guys think about that, Pete?
Hey, I think all the new players, Kerry talked about it off the top. I think Joe Thornton and Wayne Simmons are going to bring so much grit. I think we were, I hate to say it, I don't want to criticize my own team. I think we were a little light. We were too Gucci-like last year. We had lots of hands.
Wait.
Is that wrong?
Yes. Don Cherry Ron Sherry once called me, I had truculence. The Leafs just don't have
No
truculence.
way. Yeah. I think they need a little grit. And Gouche, you said that right off the top. So I'm excited to see the Leafs. And I'm sure, hey, all these teams are trying to build for the future, and we're all working to get that place. And it's been a long journey for my fave team.
1967, the last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup. In about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we'll be hearing from one of those players that was actually on the ice in black and white TV. Francois, Rosie has come out and said what he thinks is going to happen to 7 teams. Pete, of course, is just hiding behind the fact that he just doesn't want to say that the Leafs aren't going to be there. So let's hear what you're thinking on the 7 teams.
Well, let's talk about the Leafs first, because because Rosie was talking about Campbell and Thornton. Thornton's 41. Okay, so I think it's his last chance to accomplish anything with a team. So he's kind of in a hurry to make sure that the team performs well. And as far as goalies, I think Campbell or Anderson or Dell are going to have to be extremely sharp if the Leaf wants to have a chance to win that division.
Yep.
So, but they have some good kids, and I think yes, they're a little small. They're not as physical as Montreal. Let's put it that way. And if I compare Montreal, they probably got the best goalie duo in the league right now in Price and Allen. So I think that's going to help Carey Price a lot, especially preparing for the playoffs once they get there, because Allen can do the job, and he proved it with St. Louis. So I think that was a very, very good acquisition for the Montreal Canadiens. And now you were talking about Perry. I think Perry and Frolik were the last 2 that Montreal signed. And honestly, I think they signed those 2 just for experience. They knew they were going to put those 2 in the taxi squad. And I think, and that just shows the depth of the Montreal Canadiens. They've got, they've acquired Toffoli for basically nothing. I mean, they haven't lost any players for Toffoli. And one of the good trades that I loved was Domi for Edmonton. So I think Montreal's got defensively, their defensemen are bigger and meaner than Toronto. I think that's going to make a difference. So that's why I think the battle for the North is going to be between Toronto and Montreal. I think Montreal will come ahead. So that's why I picked Montreal to finish first in that division.
Give us some in line here. What do you got for Toronto second?
Montreal first, Toronto second. I got the Canucks third, Edmonton fourth, Calgary fifth, Winnipeg sixth, and Ottawa seventh.
So we got the 6 and 7 teams exact. There you go.
All right, so quite evidently, we're getting short on time here. So quite evidently, I'm just going to throw this out to you really quickly because you guys know that it is Gouche Live and featuring Paul Rosen. So he and I have to be right. I'm going to throw it around a little bit differently.
Okay.
I think
Gouche.
I've got it right here, kid. We've already done it yesterday, and you're spot on, Francois. You write it down, Paul. You got that little book when we gave away the 5-pound can of beans.
Maple syrup, too.
Maple syrup. Okay. We're bringing that out again.
Who do you got?
Pete, you're going to listen to this. Pete, you're going to watch a savvy pro. You can't teach a lot that goes in these hands, but watch this.
Okay, go ahead.
If Derek Locke, I love you. If Edmonton ends up getting some goaltending,
you just got to you got to put a team down. There's no if.
No. I'm putting the teams down.
Okay, go ahead.
Why I'm picking this.
He's saying Edmonton first.
Are you putting Edmonton first?
End up first.
What? Say that again.
Edmonton. How many times do you have to say Edmonton? You know, it's that one out in the west there.
One more.
Edmonton, yeah. Toronto.
Yeah.
Montreal.
Yeah.
My Winnipeg Jets, because Hellcock is going to win the Vezina again. Calgary, Vancouver, and then Ottawa. But Ottawa right on the tail ends. And here's a great comment. Hi, guys. I'm really excited about the NHL season. Of course, Tim Stützle's debut. Yes. I hope that despite COVID-19, things go well, just as it is in the DL in Germany. In fairness to the NHL and in fairness to all you guys, I know it was rubbing you a little bit too hard. the DEL is doing very well, playing under the same circumstances. The NHL, they're very protective. They do the testing. And so I hope that all the debate that we had today was really, don't take it personal. You know I'm right. And I want to get some final comments as we go out. Francois, I want you to answer this question. Let me give you a question.
Yep.
Do you feel that the NHL will help us get out of these doldrums and take away some of the pain that we're living through COVID?
Yes, I think so. Honestly, I think so. Just like, it was good for us to watch, those shows that the singers have put together, and for me, it's entertainment. And honestly, I'm just looking forward to it. Obviously, I'm a big sports fan. I've played the game and all that, but I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna help a lot. And I've seen it with the World Juniors. It's the same thing.
Okay, Pete.
Yeah, I think, it's not going to solve world problems. It's not going to take COVID out of our lives. But for those who are hockey fans, who are looking for a distraction, who want to get back to the game, I think this is a good thing. And just touching on what the teams are going to do, let's recognize. And I had the opportunity to go on a team flight with the Raptors one time and recognize that the boys go straight from the airport in a bus to the game, back to the bus, back to the airport. I don't think when we talk about following the COVID protocols, there's not going to be a lot of socializing for the teams. It's going to be pretty much the game and home. So, they're going to be following some protocols that have been put in place. So the benefits to society or those that love hockey are going to be good. And let's all hope that they do take all the precautions possible to make sure that we don't have this shutdown and that it causes some type of an outbreak within the NHL or any of the teams.
All right, you've been watching Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen. Rosie and I are going to click off here and go to the next channel as we have Ron Ellis and Steve Ellis starts it right off. They are not related, but if you want to know, especially Pete, if you want to know anything outside of the Toronto Maple Leafs, listen to this kid. He's unbelievable. So before we let you go, Rosie, we're going on the other channel. Francois, I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to talk about the result of tonight's game, but I want to go to you, Pete, first. You one answer. The question has one answer. Your favorite Montreal Canadian of all time?
My favorite Montreal
one
Canadian,
answer.
Larry Robinson.
Okay. Wow. Your favorite all-time Toronto Maple Leaf?
Daryl Sittler.
Your favorite all-time hockey player outside? You can't put me in that.
Favorite all-time hockey player? I'd actually probably say my hero as a kid was Boreas Salming.
Golly, you can't go wrong with that. Francois, this is going to be a tough one for you because I know you got many. Your favorite Montreal Canadian of all time?
Jean Beliveau.
Your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf?
Nobody.
I don't agree. Dougie Gilmour.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Compliment. I want to ask you about the player because I know you've pumped my tires enough. All right, guys, thank you so much. Pete, I love your perspective. Francois, don't forget there's underneath running. Do not take any of these comments personally because we love you both. Whether you're right or wrong, the fact of the matter is we're able to debate and love each other.
And there's free. Did you guys, Francois and Pete, did you get the free donuts in the green room?
No, didn't get it. Didn't get to taste that.
Right now. Better.
Sorry about that. Both the coffee and donuts are day old.
Have a great show, guys. It's going to be a great night for hockey.
Yes,
you
it
got
will.
it, buddy.
See you, boys.
Toronto wins. Oh, we forgot the tip.
Go Montreal.
Toronto 4-2.
Tomorrow, 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2, Toronto.
I said it's going to be a close game. 2-1 Montreal.
Cool.
Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Francois. I'm going 2-1 Montreal tonight.
Good night. See you in a minute.
Yep.
Let's play some hockey.